All right, let's talk about Bloodsport, the movie that gave us the great American hero Jean-Claude Van Damme. Bloodsport proves that you can base an entire genre on one man's ability to do the splits. Van Damme plays Frank Dux, a real-life martial artist, according to himself. He fought in an underground death tournament and then won. But it's complete bullshit. Frank Dux is the biggest liar on earth. Apparently, he had a 300-something-0 record. Except we can't find one actual person that he beat. There is not one person on this earth that can verify any of the claims of Frank Dux. We couldn't find a fight record, a Facebook page, LinkedIn. So Frank Dux made this before the internet, and before you could verify it on the internet, and before the UFC. And the UFC basically took all those phony martial artists and made them put up or shut up, and you see what happened. But here's the thing. Actual facts don't matter. Bloodsport's the kind of movie where you check logic at the door. It's a kung fu movie, a sports movie, an unintentional comedy masterpiece all rolled into one. So Van Damme plays Frank Dux, a real guy, or at least a guy who's really good at lying. This movie claims to be based on a true story, but the real story is equivalent to Frank Dux going into ChatGPT, telling it to write him a biography, but make him look like a badass. The motherfucker just bit the script from a James Bond movie. His master that trains him, Senzo Tanaka, turns out he's a fucking character in a James Bond movie. The dude just ripped off everything, names even. And to find this out was like finding out Santa Claus wasn't real. I based my entire life around this movie. I used to train ninja shit in my backyard every fucking day. I taught myself the splits. When my mom had friends over, she'd have me perform the splits in front of everyone on 2 fucking chairs, just like Van Damme. True story. And to find out it was all bullshit, my whole life is a lie. I was training for the fucking Kumite. I thought it was real.
Someday, I'll fight in the Kumite and make my father proud.
So Frank Dux, for breaking this kid's heart and millions of other kids' hearts across the world, you deserve to die. But I digress. The training scenes are peak insanity. There's a moment when Van Damme sensei ties him to a bunch of ropes and stretches him out like a medieval torture victim. All while he's screaming in agony. And instead of asking, what the hell am I watching? You're just sitting there thinking, yeah, this checks out. This is probably how Bruce Lee trained. And the training flashback montage is one of the most emotional things I've ever seen as a man. This is, genuine father to son love.
Father to son, father to son.
This is how I wish my dad was in jail at the time. This is how I wish my dad was with me, training me to be a young killer. So young Frank Dux, he robs this dude, Senzo Tanaka, all while he's wearing a San Francisco Giants hat and a New York Giants jersey. Who the hell did the wardrobe on this movie? So Tanaka catches his ass. It's like, you can't steal from me, dog. You want this sword? You got to earn it. Well, how do I earn it? You got to fight me, motherfucker. So Van Damme has to fight Senzo Tanaka's young son, who whips his ass silly too. And then they become good friends because, that's how it is. You ever fight someone in your backyard, there's automatically a bond that grows from that. And then little homie dies. Very sad R.I.P. to little homie. He's dead. And Van Damme's like, yo, train me. He's like, you're not a Tanaka. You're not Japanese. He's like, use an open mind. And then they have this incredible training montage that honestly is the greatest thing I've ever seen. This, to me, is the greatest piece of cinema I've ever seen in my life. It brings a tear to my eye just thinking of it. So after Tanaka basically rips the limbs off of Van Damme's body, he feels he's ready for the Kumite. And the Kumite is insane. Every competitor looks like they came from a different movie genre. You got the monkey style guy, the sumo wrestler, some dude who just runs around doing cartwheels for no reason. It's like Street Fighter on crack. Van Damme's splits become their own character, popping up in every fight. Splits dodge a punch, splits deliver a nut shot, splits for no apparent reason, splits to answer the door, splits to order a pizza. splits to solve a Pythagorean theorem.
You know, you better stop doing that stuff. You might want to have kids one of these days.
But let's talk about the real wild card in Bloodsport, Ray Jackson. Ray Jackson is Frank Dux' buddy in the movie.
Stay out of it, pal. It's not your business, okay?
I ain't your pal, dickface.
And by buddy, I mean the guy you'd avoid sitting next to at a bar. He's a loud, hairy, beer-guzzling meathead whose only skill seems to be yelling. But there's something very enduring about him, and his love for Frank. They automatically become best friends after knowing each other for 10 minutes playing Mortal Kombat. He's like, hey, you're the only other white guy in here. Let's be friends. And then Frank meets this blonde chick. It's like, oh shit, you're the only other white person in here. Let's bang.
You told me I had nice legs.
What's right about that?
And the villain, Chong Li, dude, played by Bolo Young, who's just walking testosterone. This guy doesn't even talk. He just flexes his pecs and breaks necks. He's like if your gym bro got possessed by Satan, and every time he kills someone, the crowd's like, yeah, that's cool. No cops, no refs, just vibes. I love Chong Li. He was like in some Bruce Lee movies and shit. That dude's a fucking assassin. That dude's like probably 80 now, but he'd still kill everyone in the room. And the music, the Bloodsport soundtrack is incredible. I got that shit on vinyl. It's so 80s it gave me a mullet just listening to it. It's like every motivational gym playlist owes its existence to this movie. It's perfect. And the acting, I mean, it's good enough. For me, it's perfect. It's like if a motivational poster came to life, did a line of coke and said, let's make a movie. And Van Damme takes this whole thing so serious, like he thinks he's winning an Oscar for punching dudes in slow motion. But that's what makes this movie great. Bloodsport is so stupid that it loops back around to being amazing. It's one of those movies you watch at 2 a.m. with a beer in your hand thinking, yeah, I could have done the Kumite if I wasn't busy paying taxes and getting yelled at by my wife. It's the perfect dumb guy fantasy. If you don't love Bloodsport, you probably don't have a soul. And at the end, the whole thing was supposedly based on a true story. But then again, it is, because this is my existence. I've lived this shit. But anyways, man, I hope you guys enjoy. This is one of the greatest movies of all time. And if you have children, make sure they watch Bloodsport. Because if you raise a child without Bloodsport, you're failing as a parent. Because a true measure of a man is if they grew up watching Bloodsport. This bully used to kick my ass every single day in the first grade. I would watch Bloodsport over and over and over again and train and train and train. And then finally on the last day of school, I beat his ass. I thought one day I might actually have to go to the Kumite. I thought this shit was real. Ninjas never stop doing ninja shit. Samurai is for life. We represent this. But, you know, to everyone else, I hope you guys have a good night and God bless.